daily starting stuff and challenging injustice and, well, let's all get together and do this. And that's, all of you guys. It's just a way that you're wired. But I was just thinking, like, okay, what are the heart's desires of entrepreneurial people in terms of the way God made us in his image? And I think there's a couple of things that are worthy of our lifelong ambition, regardless of what we're building at the moment. And that's intimacy with Jesus and authority in his kingdom. And, suffering really helps us get toward both of those things. But there's other ways, and there's some disciplines. And I was just like, well, what do I think are like, and it's just, I would just remind us, at the start of a new year, wouldn't that be a wonderful time to refresh what it looks like for you to spend time with Jesus daily? Whatever that looks like for you, whether you need music or time in the scriptures or time to meditate or combine your yoga practice with some prayer. I mean, whatever it is, but daily time with Jesus. I've never met anybody that I want to be like when I grow up that didn't spend time every day with Jesus. I mean, and becomes less of a duty and more of a delight. And then the other one is like zealous community. Zealous just meaning like people who are all in on living life the way that we want to live life, and that could be in your communities who you actually spend time with, right? So it could be part of, Kurt, you mentioned your church community this morning, and but the people we spend the most time with, that's our community, and kind of whatever they're into is going to be the things that we're into. And so sometimes start of a new year gives us a chance to reevaluate, like, wait, who do I need to be running with this year? So anyways, just a little bonus thought while we're getting started looking at this tool. Comments, questions, challenge, pushback. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard anybody say. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we'll move on. So let's work backwards. If we think about our business model is how we make money, right? I've been working on a new venture for about a year that I've been telling people is a vision in search of a business model. You ever worked on a business like that where you know what this thing could be and you just don't know how it makes money? So business model is how it makes money. So we're gonna get there, and you guys are living in that every day. And man, it was so cool even looking to see how, some of the things that we've talked about through this experience are already manifesting themselves at least on your website, which related to the business model. So if we work backwards, then our value proposition is how we find product market fit, right? Does anybody actually want to buy what it is we sell, what we do? And so we'll start to kind of move toward there. But we can't get there, which means we can't get to the business model if we don't actually start here with this little tool, which is just, vision, values, vocabulary, and vehicle. And we'll talk about what those are. So we're going to workshop this for a minute. So this is just a tool for viewing your venture for 30,000 feet. I've been on all your websites, which is so funny. Probably if you guys were going to check each other out, you would go to like your Instagram, right? Yeah. But I'm old, so I go straight to the website. So everybody's like, dang, I hadn't refreshed my website in like 6 years. But anyway, so some of you have done a lot of work and intention in the things that we're going to talk about. This is going to be an opportunity for you to go back and rework it and say, like, wait, is that still how I would say that today? Is that still what I'm going for? So, I don't know any business that has had any level of scale or impact that isn't super intentional about these four things. The vocabulary ones, sometimes they that intention goes toward core values or taglines, but we'll talk about it. So here's what we want to do first is just answer this question in the rawest, roughest stream of consciousness way. why does my venture exist? And this is about your heart. This is about, why you're doing this. So it's okay if you just say the same thing over and over, but just take a minute right now and without thinking about how you normally say it, what's your just quick elevator speech on why you're doing the thing that you're doing? Why does your venture exist? Go ahead and just make some notes. Can be just stream of consciousness. Could be bullet points. Okay, if you're still going, that's okay. You can keep going, but let's just share out a little bit. Not everybody will share in each section, but what are any words or phrases that stand out in what you wrote? Did you find it just easy to begin? Just immediately, you knew what you wanted to say. Why are you doing this? Why does this thing exist, Emily?
I said to find bright spots and to make them brighter, to create a shared picture that everyone can see, to show the truth so we can better understand.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else? What'd you say, or any other insights? Sarah?
To help foster parents fulfill their heart's desire
To help hurting kids. There's a lot there. Thank you. Anybody write anything that you've never said it quite that way before? Or you used a word that
when
seems
dealing
powerful?
with understanding, compassion follows.
Thank you, Chris.
You need to write that down.
Yeah.
It's on the website.
I've never heard that. But is it really?
Yeah.
Kurt's like, dang, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I could build a business around that.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Awesome. Okay, in all this, guys, we're going to run through this. You're going to spend some time on this. If you choose to, but kind of go back and rework it. Okay, let's talk about vision. This is your why expressed as a what if. It's the picture of the future you're creating, the thing that you're willing to risk for, the thing that all of you have risked for, you are risking for. It expresses your redemptive intent so clearly it feels like a calling. Use words and phrases that create mental scenes and smells and textures and ideas. I can get really just wordy and look back and see great words that just don't evoke a lot of, story and picture and texture. So, this is what some of you do for a living, is help people develop that. This is the picture, the story that touches a deep place inside of you. It's where your stakeholders feel your authenticity. It isn't the goal, it's a heart cry, so it can be audacious and risky and improbable. But it's inspiring and forms the basis of the reason that team members and clients and stakeholders want to be part of your tribe. And you guys are already really good at this, whether you know it or not. I mean, as I said, I'm kind of creeping on your websites, but embellished weddings, curating extraordinary celebration. That's really powerful. I want that for my once in a lifetime thing. 9B provides data and analytic solutions to purpose-driven organizations. We want to help 250 organizations in Oklahoma demonstrate measurable outcomes. That's really powerful and really clear. Sensational substitutes, bridging workforce gaps. That's a powerful image. To raise the quality of early childhood education. That's your heart all over your site, Brittany. FCAO and improve the lives of kids through empowering foster and adoptive parents. It's amazing. Good job, you guys. Intent, which is so, you guys should go see Intent's website. It's so artsy fartsy. It's so fun. You know, immersive mentorship in career and life for dancers. Yeah. Yeah. By Hillary. Amazing. Yeah, you guys are good at this, and Cultivate. We want 1,000 redemptive entrepreneurs in Oklahoma City because we believe a city full of redemptive entrepreneurs will change the atmosphere of Oklahoma City in a generation. And we spend time on this stuff. I'll come back to there. I had an opportunity to help the Carlton Landing town articulate what it was going to be when it grew up back before it was a thing. And we said in 20 years, Carlton Landing will have changed the way people think about Oklahoma. It'll be a model for the new lake lifestyle and be the center of connection and renewal for almost 1,500 families. Well, if you start with this, then that really impacts how you build, right? And it's a pretty crazy, audacious thing to say that this real estate development will actually like change a whole state, right? Anyways. Hobby Lobby, I want to go back to that for values. And then Chick-fil-A, we want to glorify God. You know, they're pretty bold about what they're going to be about from the very beginning. We want to be a steward, and we want to be a positive influence on all who come in contact with Chick-fil-A, which is why they do a lot more than just chicken stores. You know, they're involved in entertainment and real estate development and all kinds of other things. Their vision gave them permission to do more than just make chicken, which is pretty neat. So what would you guys say? If you've said it before, act like you're starting fresh and think about your why and take a few minutes and kind of write out what your vision is for your venture. Okay, Kelsey, what you got?
I said to bring clarity and open up capacity for founders to care well for people by giving them back time and drawing in the right people for their business through strategic social media.
Nice. Thank you. How easy for you to do that quick exercise?
Become easier in the last 60 days, I'd say.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, somebody else. Come on.
To be a bridge between the secular and Christian dance community where artists can experience Jesus at an immersive level, changing the way stories are being told through dance and the heart of the artist is being transformed.
Thank you. It's a really powerful vision. Anybody else? Okay, let's keep rolling. So core values are such a weird thing, you know. That's kind of become ubiquitous language in the business community, and you know, we all want to be good stewards and we want to have integrity. And I think the place where for me personally and our team has been most challenged in core values is to really understand the role that they play in building culture, beginning with hiring team members, and as an internal tool to build the culture that you want to build, and as an external tool to connect with the tribe that you want to connect with. I'm looking at you, Kelsey, because that's what you guys do. You know, Seth Godin would say there's a group out there that's just waiting to find you, and so these core values is a big part of the way that people say, wait, I connect with that, and in terms of your clients and your stakeholders. So these are the core of your why expressed in the principles that give motion toward your vision. And they can be expressed in lots of different ways. They distill your vibe down to its essence. The non-negotiable behaviors that we hold one another accountable to. So because Kat's going to go start a new business, we got to reshuffle some stuff on our team, which means we're going to bring on a new team member. And so the first thing we'll do is see if their values align with ours, and if they don't, then it really doesn't matter how amazing they are at their skill. It just won't work. So we use these as a tool, and I think I'm going to go ahead and get you off and running, and then we may look at some examples if we have time. But yeah, go ahead and take a few minutes and just kind of bullet point out, what are the words or phrases that just feel like the core. You guys ready to share some core values? Go, Nathan. Anything?
Oh, values. So ours are asking tough questions and being transparent with the answers. Care for our neighbors is a big one that we want from our employees. And, leading with listening, using data to solve big problems, and being proactive.
Yeah, I like all those. And what I really like about all those is they, for your particular venture, they just seem to really translate beautifully from building internal culture to, what you do missionally as well. That's really neat. Thanks for sharing that. Somebody else? Miss Page?
I have single words.
Love it.
It's care, nurture, joy, excellence, and serve. And so far.
That's amazing. If I might be so bold as to suggest, when you're messing with this, later when you have time, those are incredibly powerful words. Every one of us is like, well, yeah, that's Paige's values. That totally makes sense. It's who she is, and you might just consider, just a story in your, that happens in your business that kind of represents those different words, and even just kind of write out, what that image is in your mind as you think about that, and you can kind of unpack those in a way that really reflects your vision. So that's awesome. Thank you. Anybody else?
Compassion, protector, server, patience, and listener.
Yeah. Again, that feels like your brand and also your heart. That's really good. Sarah, you were nodding. Did you want to share?
I have to write down what you just said. Brand and heart mean.
Oh.
No, good. To serve, to be generous with time and resources, to encourage, to remind, to teach, to love. And I want something that has to do with experience or like experts or something. I don't know what that is yet, but.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Thank you. I'll give you, because we do have time, I'll give you just a couple of, if you really start paying attention, whether they actually brand them, their core values, I just challenge you to find a really exemplar venture in their industry that isn't real clear about kind of what our core values are. But Patagonia is just a real, definitely the leader in the outdoor apparel and gear space for probably 30, 40 years. They're who everybody in that business wants to be, and there's new startups in that world every day trying to be them. But they're like this, I love their vision statement. Patagonia is in business to save our home planet. Kind of powerful and wild. But anyways, they kind of rejigged their core values a few years ago, and here's what they came up with: quality, integrity, environmentalism, justice, and not bound by convention. They were one of the first to do, they were doing work from home before work from home was cool. And, if you need a surf break in the middle of the day, just go do it. And that kind of stuff. They really built a culture around these values. Delta Airlines is a good example of, taking the same values we feel like we see over and over and over, but actually like unpacking them in, I think, clever little ways that give them some oomph. Integrity, always keep your deals. Respect, don't hurt anyone. Anyways, that was pretty neat. So this is almost 20 years later. We're at year 17 from when these values, and it was based, and you guys have been there, and it was about family. It was about connecting people to nature. It was about simplicity. So that was it, those three values. And this is kind of an interesting exercise that connects vision to core values. Was just sometimes if you just write a little story about, what your venture looks like in 20 years, what's it like to experience your venture in 20 years? What would that look like? And sometimes core values can come out of an exercise like that as well. Okay, let's keep rolling. So vocabulary. Every powerful culture has a core vocabulary. Seth Godin has been beating this drum for 40 years, which is people like us talk like this, and it's so core in connecting with your tribe. But, I think, Amanda, like a word like curate, but that's just a very elegant and powerful word, which is exactly what you're trying to communicate, elegance and like we get stuff done, but in a really soft and thoughtful and elegant way. And so I think curate is a really powerful word that you use a lot. My friend Tim Ulrich was trying to build a community around neighborhood redevelopment, and he did a lot of work just with just crazy vocabulary made up, like shareonomics. He said that's the core of what we're going to do in our neighborhood is we're going to do shareonomics. We're going to totally flip the script on empire, and of course there was a lot to unpack. Taylor Doe's "and then" has become a phrase people use in our city. And now when we say "and then" in this community, everybody knows what we mean, and that's kind of cool vocabulary. So, what are the words that you find kind of come up that are culture-making words in your venture, or even among you and your friends that just represents a vocabulary that you want to be really intentional with, or words that are important to your tribe, to your clients? So take a minute and have fun with words. Okay, let's start to share some vocab. I'm sure some of it's funny. Any words that either come up a lot in your world, or that you want to start coming up a lot in your world, and definitely share anything that you just made up, and it's part of your world. Colby.
For me, it would be, put me on the spot, obviously. I would say one that comes up for me is like disagree.
Disagree.
Like typically if I'm sitting across with a couple or talking about something marriage, there's a good chance they're going to disagree with something I say. So that's one of those funny. Now I don't know why that's funny. Lance, because I'm sharing my heart with you.
No, but that's super cool, Colby, because what you're really talking about is transparency. But you're doing it in a funny Colby way that's such a part of the culture you're trying to create. That is such a great example. Way to go to the top of the class, Colby. That is amazing.
I can just leave now is what you're saying. I'm done.
That's actually really awesome. We see what you did there.
I kind of took this, put my own little spin on it.
I love it.
I took it as the things that if anyone, aka me and him, you'll hear us say these things.
Yeah.
It's just like naturally what we say all the time. But
Yes.
shared understanding, bridging the gap, vulnerability, affordable communities, all cops are bad is a slogan, not a solution, intentional exposure, and of course, your Blue Jay driver profile. It's all stuff that, like, whether we're talking to someone in an interview, a podcast, like, those are all bound to come up at some point, because it's just like what we've learned is the key words of what we do.
That's awesome, Chris. Thank you. Chris could have just edged you a little bit right there, Colby, but it's kind of a different.
I already did that.
Different
when I
thing.
dropped my phone in the bucket.
I love it. I love it.
It's respect. I feel like you respect your elders, kind of. That's cool.
Respect is a core value of mine.
Take some feedback.
All right. Who else? We got just a few more minutes. Who else wants to share?
So I actually went back up, and I love the notion of like picturing people
Mm.
and their qualities, and then so I have joyful, passionate, committed, respectful. Those are just things I think whenever you're talking, especially in the chakra world, you want to see amplified through somebody.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, similar. We have to, like I always say, okay, we need to shake it out because we get too serious. And I'm like, what we're doing is fun. We do social media, and we're leading people on these shoots, and sometimes they need to shake it out before they're on camera. And so I'm like, okay,
Shake
we
it
gotta
out.
shake it out. Like, let's
Yeah.
reset here and remember this is fun and we can play with it. And
I like it.
So yeah, we do that a lot.
I love that. I can see that on a shirt.
Yeah.
You know.
We,
It's happened?
Most of the time we just like
Oh.
physically like have to like shake.
But
it
you
out.
see, you see that words that were part of an internal culture that actually become like part of the brand. You see it a lot with like, I don't know, maybe like bars and restaurants and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool.
We have an anti-word, which is synergize. And so like when anyone says it, our whole company just looks at each other because like it's just our
Yeah.
anti-word. It's too
Yeah.
businessy. It's like
Let's table
everything we hate.
That's really fun though. But I mean, like if you had a list of anti-words that you actually come back to regularly, like
Go back. No.
that would so much become part of the culture. Already has. That is so cool. Anti-words can be as powerful as, yeah. Like we know we want to say this. We know we don't want to say this. Yeah. We don't want to be like what all these words represent. That's so good. Any other words? Anybody?
One thing that my husband and I use a lot in the ministry that we do together is we say teachable moments.
Yeah.
So instead of like, this is going to be a hard conversation, like, what's the teachable moment? We have teachable moments. Like, we teach
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
Changes it.
Totally changes it. Makes it positive. Kinsey, you were going to say something.
Well, Hillary was going to. But now that they're coming to me at first, I think this felt like a little bit of a challenge just because dance is so much movement and we're trying to speak the words without speaking them verbally. But of course now there's some on the paper too. But for me, one that really stands out is like just what's your intention for the day when we do our check-in with the students? Like, yes, it's an intention, like everybody can do that, but for them, I think it's something so special that happens in our space that they get to do as part of the program. I feel like it makes it a little bit more inviting and just another layer that anybody could practice, but for them, it's something a little bit different. So, I don't know.
That's really good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Amanda, was there anything else you were going to share about vocab?
No, I mean I can. Just words that kind of the same thing. You'll hear any of my team talk about this at any point. Being intentional, unreasonable hospitality, marriage-minded, thoughtful, just in a random conversation that'll come up between a wedding planner, a client, a vendor, of just who we are and what we do.
Yeah. And you've been at this a little bit longer than some of the other ventures here, so you're like, oh yeah, these are, we didn't mean for it to be, but these have become us, and then we say them over and over because they represent powerful things. Love it. That's awesome. Last thing that we have a tendency to run by, and you guys, this is so powerful and so worth spending some time thinking about, and that's vehicle, which is about your structure. the questions are, are there structural items that are core to moving toward your vision and are integrous to your values? Obviously, some of it could be legal structure. Met with a new venture yesterday that very intentionally started as a for-profit venture. I think they were very thoughtful about why they made that decision, but they realized that they need to bolt a nonprofit vehicle on to really accomplish their vision, and so they're in the process of doing that now and kind of shifting their vehicle. And we've had several Cultivate ventures rethink legal structure issues as a result of this process. Is it a structure of outside wisdom and accountability expressed in an advisory board? Some of you have to have a board of directors, but many of you don't have. But is there a place for a structure of an advisory board? Structure also refers to the rhythms of goal setting, accountability, and celebration. Elizabeth, give everybody a quick rundown on our annual rhythm of that, goal setting and celebrating, and because this isn't prompted, it's just totally on the spot. Go, Elizabeth.
We do group planning, team planning with everybody once a year, and then quarterly we do kind of goal setting for the operations team that we all do together, and Brian helps lead that with us, so we have input from the whole team too, which is fun. But each of those feels like a celebration too, because we're looking back at what's happened and celebrating that, and then kind of looking forward at what we're going to be celebrating, which is fun. And that's built into the way that we celebrate birthdays or cohort celebrations. After a cohort's done, our team does a celebration. It's just a part of what we do. So it's we get to be a part of really good work, but we get to look back and celebrate that. And it's everybody on the team, which is really generous of kind of the structure of the team too.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, amazing. And then structures about calendars and org charts and your business model and your value proposition. So it's the framework that forms the basis of your operation and how you build. So take a minute and just make any notes about any structural things that you feel like you need to, maybe something that just came up, you're just curious about. And maybe you would set an intention just to follow that curiosity. Maybe it's around legal structure or a board or around kind of what your annual rhythms are. Just make any notes of anything you feel like you just need to kind of follow up on in that area. Any comments, questions about structural things? That's the hardest one right now?
Feels like it, yeah.
Why do you say that, Kelsey?
Hard. Our processes and systems feel clunky. Working with a bunch of contractors is hard because you're dealing with a lot of different calendars. So then how do we have weekly rhythms when everyone's in and out so much? Accountability, keeping people accountable is really hard. I don't like doing it at all.
Yeah.
So then I avoid it, and then I get mad and resentful months later. So not great.
It's a teachable moment.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
And Kelsey, I'm so glad you said all those things because, I think I would encourage you guys at this point in the Cultivate process, don't get bogged down with your mentors in just doing tactical stuff, which is the low-hanging fruit. These are great questions to ask mentors, structure, rhythms, how you structure employee benefits, or, these more macro issues, or even talking about values and, don't forget to really press on these mentors for the things that really are the most valuable for you, And what I just heard you say, Kelsey, is, wait, I built my business and on the things that are come really easy for me, and I've built a great team, and now we actually need to build a structure that can support that for the long term. Well, everyone winds up in that place, and so those are great things to talk about, to mentors about too. So thank you for sharing that. Anybody else, anything to share before we? This is kind of a special day in the Cultivate year because we get to eat Zorbas today. So yeah.
I put our on the legal side. I put our patent because that shows shareholders, users, employees. It shows people that what we're doing is different. The fact that it's patented as a new thing, new technology. I think that's important towards our whole thing of the future of policing, or the things that we say, like the patent supports that by saying it is different, it's new. And I also put structure, to me, also said foundation. And since we always talk about vulnerable communities, we can't say that everyone's had a seat at the table in making Blue Jay what it is without having had those people at the table. So just everyone, all the people that we've spoken with has really built our foundation of why this works, because everyone has had a part in saying how they feel during a traffic stop, what they need, all that stuff. So those two things, I think, are the army tank vehicle that it is. It's a bunch of people that are along on this ride.
That's funny. Your answer is almost somewhat different than mine.
Vocabulary, one way or another.
I wrote down our structure is like going 20 miles per hour on the highway with no GPS. And so in saying that, it's like there's no manual for what we're doing because it's new.
Yeah.
So we can't go off of a restaurant. We can't go off of another construction company. It's like every time we hit a milestone, we open a door to another dark room with no instructions. So everything that you were saying is right on point, because it's like, okay, so now what do we do from here?
Why 20 though? Do we have a bad transmission?
I
don't think we'd be on the highway.
But that's the
We would be
patience.
getting pulled over going 20 on the highway.
It's the patience.
Amazing. Okay, you guys, we need to transition. So here's what's going to happen is Scotia Moore is going to kind of water this conversation in prayer and also